Okay, this is a short video about SmartFox basics. In the last video we got SmartFox server installed, and then in this video I'm going to show you a little bit about using it. First of all, I've got SmartFox server running, so I started it up. I went to Start Program, SmartFox server, and fired up the SmartFox server, so it is running. And the next thing I wanted to show you about it was, I want to show you a little bit about, here's my control panel, Windows Firewall, and I want to show you a little bit about Windows Firewall. Okay, you can see that I have Windows Firewall on, and I'm going to go to my exceptions here, and I'm going to show you that in my exceptions you'll see that SmartFox is an exception now in my Windows Firewall. So if I click on SmartFox right here, the first one, and click Properties, you'll see that SmartFox is going to be talking on port 9339 and TCP, and that's been opened up here. And then also there's a secondary one here, SmartFox UDP, and I'll go to Properties, and also on port 9339 UDP is opened up for SmartFox. So Windows Firewall is allowing SmartFox to talk on port 9339. This is the default. The other choice is just to turn Windows Firewall off, but you don't have to do that, and you just have to make sure that it's ready. If you're running another firewall program like Zone Alarm or something like that, then you have to make sure that it's allowing SmartFox to do business on port 9339. Okay, the next thing is I'm running a web server on my computer. I just wanted to point that out. I'm running WAMP Server 2.0 here. I installed WAMP Server 2.0, which installs Apache Web Server and PHP and MySQL Server. So I've got an Apache Web Server running, and we'll talk about that in a minute. And then I'm going to go to the SmartFox server documentation, and we'll talk about the next part in last part we did the installation. Now we're talk about server configuration. The main thing, if you go to the basics about server configuration, they're going to talk about a lot of the configs that you can do in a lot of the configurations that you can set, both basic and advanced, in SmartFox server. But until you use SmartFox server, you're not really going to understand all this. Or if you're new to servers, you're really not going to understand all this. So I'm just going to kind of take a very basic approach to it. Later it's going to be more important as you start making games to understanding. You'll be constantly going back to this section to configure your server so that it works with your applications and games. There's also, SmartFox has its own web server that you can use. So if you don't want to install Apache Web Server or run WAMP server, there is a web server built right into SmartFox server that you can also use. And then there's a couple other things here, multiple configurations, Linux configurations, things like that. I'm going to go now to Chapter 3, running the server, basics. And before we move on, I want to point out that if you go to the SmartFox server folder, okay, here's the main folder in SmartFox server. If you go into the server directory, the configuration file is the config.xml file. And if you open it up, config.xml, I've already got it open here. I'm using Komodo Edit to edit. We'll talk a little bit about this configuration file. You can see here that right off the bat it's listening for every IP address right here. So it'll bind to all available IPs. It says that right here. There's the port number 9339. If you wanted to change it and use a different port, you could do that right here. 9339 is the default. And let's see here. There's a bunch of stuff here that we'll get into in the future, but I'm going to go down here to this part, administrator login. You'll see the default login is sfs_admin, and then the admin password sfs_pass. So this is what you would change to change the login and the password for the administration program, which we're going to use in a minute. Okay, and then allowed administrator IP addresses. Let's say if you're only going to administer the server from one IP address, you could put that in there as a security measure. Right now it's listening on all IP addresses, hence the asterisks. But not much there. We just wanted to show you that that is where it's located. Okay, next thing is In this SmartFox server folder, there's also this admin page. So this admin directory. I'm in the SmartFox Server Pro 1.6.6 directory. I'm going to go into this admin directory, and there's the admin tool. And what you can do is you could copy that admin tool.swf. If you can't see your file extensions, see it says admin tool.swf, make sure you go to Tool, Folder Options, View, okay, Tool, Folder Options, View, and turn off Hide Extensions for Known File Types. Right here, make sure you turn that off. That way you can see your file extension. So this is admintool.swf. It's a SWF file, Flash movie. And what I've done is I've copied it into my web server directory. So here's my web server, WAMP server. I can go to my www directory right here, and you'll see that I've copied it into the www directory for my web server. And there it is, admintool.swf. So now I can open up a browser, and I can go to localhost admin, capital A, tool, capital T, tool.swf, right? And it will go to the admin tool. And this is a very cool program, Flash movie, that will talk to the SmartFox server and allow you to administer it over the web. So the username, you put in sfs_admin, and then the default password is sfs_pass, and hit submit. And you can see right off the bat you're using the default admin password. Please change it as soon as possible. You've logged right into the admin tool for SmartFox server. It says that the server's been up for 52 minutes. You can restart the server right here. You could halt the server. It's going to tell you some statistics about how many zones you have going, how many rooms, how many users are logged in. You can look at your different zones, which we'll talk about later. You can ban certain users. You can look at your logs. You can manage extensions. These are ActionScript files or Python files or Java files that you can add to SmartFox server for your games that will extend the extend the properties of the game or help make the game better. I don't know how to explain it right now. Blue Box, which we'll talk about later, which is for streaming video. And then here's your config file that you can change right here and back up right here from this administration tool. And then you can log out. So I hope that was helpful. Once again, all I did is I copied the admin tool.swf into my web server and tested it out. I'm running SmartFox server, and we took a look at our config file, the config.xml file that's located in the server folder. We also took a look at Windows Firewall, made sure Windows Firewall was open. Once again, this was all done from the SmartFox server folder. We were able to find these files.